good day, a good sightings day yesterday. I saw Battalier eagle, always nice to see. A carcass of a buffalo right next to the road with vultures. The carcass was at least 3-4 days old. No predators in sight, just the vultures. These vultures are all white-backed vultures, with the exception of one lone lappet-faced vulture. They don't play nicely. Lots of shrieking, fighting, squabbling. One wonders if there's enough time to feed. You wouldn't want your daughter to go out with one of these. And then, something I very seldom have seen, a small herd of sesame antelope, right next to the road. Very seldom see them. They weren't in the least bit bothered by me. They were quite peaceful, with some young. And that's nice to see. Unusual animals every now and then. It's really nice to see. So we'll see what today holds in this beautiful, beautiful weather. I hope I see something really interesting. Like a lion mating with a tiger. That would be nice. Shingwedzi is quite a large camp with a fairly large camping area. The camping area, to my mind, is one of the better areas in the Kruger Park. Sites fairly far apart, and because the general camping area is big, you can get a site with some distance between yourself and your neighbors. As in most camps, the fence line sites are very popular and normally fill up very fast. They are not of any particular interest to me. I have camped at fence line sites in the past when the camp has been relatively empty, but have not seen very much game at all at Shingwedzi. At some camps, the fence line sites are very profitable in terms of game viewing, but in my experience, not at Shingwedzi. I prefer sites a little more inward, that give me some space and some privacy. Many sites are electrified, which is good. Water, however, water taps are very dispersed, and to get a site with both water on tap and electricity is a little difficult. In my particular case, having electricity and having water is very nice, but not at all essential. I have more than sufficient onboard electricity and water should I need it. However, I prefer obviously not to have my water tanks filled because it's extra weight, and I have more than enough weight already as it is. Shingwedzi is probably my favorite camp. Not necessarily for camping, but certainly in chalets. There's something magical to my mind about the chalets and the layout in Shingwedzi. If there was any camp where I would take a chalet, and I often do, it's Shingwedzi. Camping and the camping area, it's a good camping area. It's a camping area I enjoy very much. The Shingwedzi Causeway, completely dry, as opposed to being flooded and even closed in February of the same year, only 9 months earlier. I returned 2 days later to the previously seen buffalo kill, now stripped bare, moved around. No doubt hyenas came to visit. These little African dung beetles are fascinating little creatures. They emerge only in summer from the ground, and within 15 minutes of an elephant, as in this case, depositing manure, these little creatures arrive, and the male forms this little ball and then proceeds to take it to a place where there's soft ground where he and his mate can bury it. Now it's the male doing the pushing here. The one on top is the female. She just holds on for dear life as he pushes it. All in a straight line, as best they can, of course. Navigating by the sun, and at night, possibly the moon or the Milky Way. There seems to be some discrepancy in views on that. But they have the ability to navigate via polarized light. Then they will bury the ball, and the female will lay an egg in each ball, and obviously then the egg hatches into larvae, develops until it's an adult, and then emerges from the ground. Process proceeds again from that stage. Well, at the moment I'm at Punda, the northernmost camp in the Kruger Park. And normally quite quiet, and it is quiet now. In Kruger, the south of the park is by far the most popular with tourists. The north, very popular with people like myself who don't want to see tourists, who don't want to be in the middle of noise and people. And that is the beauty of the north. It is so that the south is far more prolific in game, and particularly lion. The north, particularly where I'm heading to now, which is Bafuri, which is even yet further north, right on the border, is wonderful and renowned for bird life. Very pleasant weather yesterday. The hottest it got was 27 degrees. Very pleasant. And I'm heading for one of my favorite places in Kruger, and that is Pafuri, as I mentioned. Right on the border, riverine forests again. By now you will know that I enjoy riverine forests immensely because of the bird life. Pafuri too, renowned for Nyala antelope, and a number of other rare antelope that you don't often see in the Kruger Park. Other than camping, there are three forms of accommodation at Punda Maria. Family chalets, which are very nice. I've stayed in them before. They would be the upmarket choice with air conditioning. And then secondly, there are huts or chalets, which you see to the right, which are quite primitive and rustic, but they do have air conditioning. And then thirdly, there are very well ventilated tents, all built up on stilts with a braai area and a deck, and beautifully separated from each other with a braai area. Very pleasant if the weather's not too hot. But Nyala is my favorite antelope. Very interesting, Nyala. The male and the female look entirely different. The male is a big animal, not as big as an eland, but it's a big animal. Beautiful markings. Unfortunately, very shy. They don't hang around. You'll sometimes find females around the camp, around Punda, and they seem to be a lot less adverse to spending time with people, but the males are difficult. Beautiful animal. Temperature right now 23.5, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I've given up trying to predict weather and temperature in Kruger. Things can change so fast. I've always been amazed. If you get up in the morning, particularly December, January, and the gates open at 4:30 in the morning, you can look up while it's still dark and not see a star. Otherwise, you know it's cloudy. And within an hour or two, not a cloud in the sky. This wonderful baobab tree up ahead is always a pleasant sight when approaching Pafuri picnic spot. Beautiful old tree hollowed out in the center. So many baobabs are. How many thousand years old this tree is, I'm not sure, but it's an old baobab. Beautiful tree. Pafuri picnic spot, a beautiful picnic spot. The Kruger Park has many wonderful picnic spots, but I think this is possibly the most beautiful one. Again, because of the river, the large trees, the beautiful shade. An ideal place for a breakfast, or a lunch, or a brunch, or just a picnic, or just a cup of coffee. In the old days, the picnic spots were remembered or could be remembered for the constant fires burning. Always fires to provide hot water, coals for drying, and it's a smell that I certainly associate with the picnic spots. But clearly, over time, we've come to realize that that is not an environmentally satisfactory solution, and now gas has been introduced at most of the picnic spots. The fires don't burn all day long, which I miss, but absolutely correct that they shouldn't be burnt all day long. And many people will say, well, the Kruger Park is so full of fallen trees, why not use them? The reality is that those fallen trees provide homes for many, many creatures, insects of various types, and they're part of the ecological system and should not be removed from the Kruger Park, from where they fall. They must stay there and decompose over time while providing sanctuary and breeding places for some of the smallest creatures in the Kruger Park. Wood burning is not something that is sustainable, other than, of course, for non-indigenous trees, which do occur in the Kruger Park. But now I'm going to keep quiet and just enjoy this magnificent scenery, possibly the most beautiful scenery in the Kruger Park.
Okalimbaye fanaye, okalimbaye fanaye.